So, man, I don't know if you noticed, but in the past 3 or 4 years, I've noticed a resurgence of our older legends in the music game pop back up again and start making music and putting out consistent music. It's probably been even earlier than that, but I've seen like, guys like Paul Wall and Slim Thug, like, all make a reappearance. And I know those are just a couple of Southern artists. It just shows you where I'm from. But I'm just wanting to know from you, why do you think these different artists are starting to kind of, pop back up and drop music so consistently? Again, this is what I'm seeing. It used to be back in the day where they would only drop maybe like an album per year or something like that. Now I'm seeing albums and mixtapes all over the place from these older artists. Like I said, Slim Thug, Vanilla Ice, like why?
Uh, I think there's two ways you can go with that.
Mhm.
One of them is that the model of releasing music has changed. So
Hmm.
people ask, is it better to release an EP, a single, or an album? We advise more singles than anything else because people's attention span is
Yeah.
short.
Hmm.
So the more you can stay on top of their mind, the better. So when you release singles, you can just, have one a month
Hmm.
come out. And that's why you see them be so consistent rather than them having a whole album.
Hmm.
They can just kind of knock them out.
Yeah.
The other thing to consider is that technology about recording music at home has gotten better. So
Facts.
sometimes people don't have to spend as much
True.
to create the projects.
Hmm.
Like you can come up with a really good recording in your room, and then you got instant mastering services
That's right.
that you can just push a song to.
Come on.
And a lot of those are going to sound pretty much just as good
Yeah.
as if you had paid somebody with a sound treated room for mastering. And those, I mean, you can get slightly better quality. So if you're like an audio snob,
Hmm.
it might make sense for you to pay for that mastering engineer,
Yeah.
and they do a fantastic job. We're not coming after mastering engineers, but the technology is getting better
Yeah.
on that. The other thing is that I've definitely seen older artists start to get trends from like TikTok or Instagram Reels.
Mhm.
Like if there's a song that gets onto one of those trends, those streams just go up
100%.
on Spotify and YouTube because a lot of the younger generation is now discovering those songs again.
Yeah.
So that's some of the reason. It could just be that they ran out of money and they need to come out with more content. I have no idea how they manage their money, but
Mhm.
that's not, it's not rare
Yeah.
for people in the entertainment industry to kind of blow all their money
Yeah.
on something, which is why we try to talk about financial literacy on here sometimes. But
Mhm.
those are the reasons I could be thinking of.
Yeah, yeah. I also think I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but just the fact that a lot of them were restricted by their contracts.
Yeah,
That's
true.
They could only release X amount of projects per year, and now that they've been quote unquote liberated, so to speak. Now it's kind of like, hey, I'm just cater to my audience as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of some of the common vernacular and language that I've been seeing from a lot of these artists is, man, contract had me held up, had me hemmed up for a while, but now I can do what I want to do. So that's also the bright side of not I'm not saying signing to a label is bad, but sometimes it can be restricting, and so just kind of having your own independence, your own freedom to take control of your own career. That's the bright side of it.
Yeah, and they don't have to. When you're independent, you don't have to have those splits with
Yes.
the record label.
Come on.
Like you can just decide your splits. If you have a manager,
Facts.
decide their split and all that stuff. You can come up with more of the terms whenever you're in the driver's seat of that. So that might be another reason why they're coming out with more projects.
Yep.
There's a lot of reasons behind it.
Yep.
They might have just fallen back in love with making the music, and then they wanted to make another album.
Yeah.
But it could be any one of those.
Yep. Gotcha.